From your perspective, be it professional or personal, with this black utopia that everybody dreams of on the African continent and the American continent, what do you say our primary objective is in going that direction, and how should we attack it?
Okay. Well, number one, excellent question. Number one, I don't see it as one utopia. There's going to have to be utopias. And I'm saying that because if there was an exodus of Africans from the West back to Africa, remember, the African American is not the only African in the West. We got the British, you're talking millions of black. The black Canadians, you're talking about the South and Central Americans, you're talking about the Jamaicans, you're talking about Bermuda, you're talking about an exodus of Africans from this side of the Atlantic Ocean back over there. I think that would overwhelm the internal political, economic, and social structure of Africa. I don't think Africa can absorb all of us at one time. I think it would be too much. I speak of utopias, for lack of a better word, because I don't think we all need to go to the same place. You understand? For example, I think each African nation can absorb a certain percentage of us. Take 40 million Africans in America, right? We might be the largest outside of Brazil. So maybe you divide that 40 million, okay, into 10 sets of 4 million. You understand? Yeah. And those 10 sets of 4 million will go to 10 African countries that were strategically selected for their ability to absorb those populations. You understand? Yes. The Africans from the United Kingdom, they may be divided up into 4 groups and sent to other places. Canada, I think we want to cause as least culture shock as possible when we go back. And I also think we have to keep in mind, though, that our network needs to remain international. You see, when we talk of Pan-Africanism and repatriation, when we say everybody needs to go back home, we're talking about everybody needs to have a commitment to home and everyone needs to have a foot in Africa. But we still need to have brothers and sisters scattered throughout the world, as everyone else does, for military intelligence. You understand? So we don't give up Jamaica. We keep all of those African islands in the Caribbean, but we got that political, economic, and cultural network popping off. So, for example, how many Africans can Jamaica absorb? You know, are they overpopulated? We got some Caribbean countries that have an African government where only a half of the island is actually being occupied or used. I was down in St. Croix, some of these different places I've been. They say, Umar, we got like a quarter of our island ain't even been touched yet since slavery ended. Africans can go there, you see. So my thing is, when we talk about repatriation, everyone needs to have a political, economic foot in Africa's regeneration, but I also believe there's nothing wrong with your repatriation being one that doesn't take you all the way back to Africa, but does take you to an African country, which could be the Caribbean, Central, or South America, because we do need to maintain our global presence even as we repatriate back to Africa. And I think we also got to keep in mind, if you don't mind me throwing it in, everyone does not go. Only progressive-minded people can go back. You just don't pick up all the black folk in Kansas City, since this is where we are, and send them back to Africa. You got brothers practicing behavior that's counterproductive to what we try to do. You got sisters doing it. You know, you got people who got mindsets and stereotypes about what Africa and Africanism is that they'll take back. You got people who think they're better than the Africans back home. Or we got people who don't think they're better but might not be able to deal with some of the arrogance they're going to get from Africans on the continent. So I think there needs to be training. I think there needs to be education. You understand? And I think we need to be very selective in who we send, because you can start a civil war. We can cause more problems than we solve if you send the wrong people back.